Hi everyone, today I wanted to speak a little bit about Abigail. I'm not sure if you guys know who Abigail is in the Bible, but I'm going to talk about her story, and her story is found in 1 Samuel chapter 25. And Abigail, the Bible says that she is married to a man named Nabal. And this man, the Bible says, is very rich, yet the Bible also says that he's very foolish. And I kind of wonder, like, how can there be a man that is foolish and yet rich? But the Bible also says that he was evil. So I'm thinking that maybe he's rich because of his evil doings. And now the Bible talks about that King David, he was with his men and he decides, we were there for Nabal's men. We protected them. We provided for them. So now let us go to Nabal and let us seek for him to provide for us and for him to protect us. And he told his men, go to Nabal and tell him how we've been there for his men, and tell him to ask his own men to see that this is true. But when they go to Nabal, as foolish as he is, he says, like, why should I take the food away from my men to feed your men when I have no idea who you are? Instead of doing as David said and asking his men, he didn't care to do so. He was a very selfish man, which maybe that's another reason he had riches. But it says that one of Nabal's men, they went to Abigail and they told Abigail what had happened. And they said, Abigail, David's men protected us and were with us and provided for us. And now that David came to Nabal, this is how Nabal repaid him. He repaid him, evil for good. And he says, so now go see what you are going to do because David is coming against us. And David had planned to wipe them all out. David was so upset. But it says that this woman hurried in her wisdom. She hurried and she got 200 fig cakes. She got all this food. She prepared everything for these men. And she went out to meet him without telling her husband, because she in her wisdom knew it's not the right time to tell him. And a person who is wise and a person who is of understanding knows that there is a time for everything. Just like the book of Ecclesiastes says. And they are knowledgeable of the times. That's why even Jesus says, you hypocrites, like you know the times, you know how to tell the times, but yet you're not going to be able to tell the times of God. So if we're able to tell the times, if we're able to tell the seasons, we have to be discerning of times, like the sons of, Zebedee? We have to be able to discern the times. Just like with Esther, when she said, to the king, let me prepare another banquet for you tomorrow. Why? Because she understood it's not the time. She discerned this is not the right time to tell the king. So in the same way, Abigail knew this is not the right time to tell my husband, but she met with David, and this is a woman of intercession, and she bowed down on her knees before David, and she humbled herself before David, and she interceded for her household. And she interceded for Nabal, and David said, blessed are you because you have delivered me from shedding blood. And David tells her, God has sent you to me. This is what David says. And David said to Abigail, blessed be the Lord, the God of Israel, who sent you this day to meet me. So David understood this is not a coincidence. This is orchestrated by God. Like, you came because this is orchestrated by God. And even Abigail, before David said this to her, she told him, she says, this shall be no staggering grief to you or cause for pangs or consciences to my Lord, either that you have shed blood without cause or that my Lord has avenged himself. And when the Lord has dealt with my Lord, then earnestly remember your handservant. So she knew, what? God is going to deal with Nabal. I'm not going to deal with my husband. You're not going to deal with my husband. God is the one that's going to deal with my husband. So she understood, I cannot change him. I cannot do anything. All I can do is intercede for him. But God himself is the one that's going to deal with him. She understood this. This is a woman of wisdom. And that's exactly what happened. It says that David forgave her. He says, don't go in peace. I have heard you. I hearken myself to you. And because of you, I'm not going to kill your husband and his men. And when he leaves, that his wife wants to tell her husband, she can't, because the Bible says that he's married with wine. So she decides this is not the right time to tell him either. She waits for morning time. And when she tells her husband, it says that I'm going to read it because it says, but in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife told him these things, his heart died within him, and he became paralyzed, helpless as a stone. And about 10 days after that, the Lord smote Nabal, and he died. Who smote Nabal? Was it David? No. Was it his wife? No, it was God himself. And this is what I love about God, that when you do your part, because she could have gone off on her husband. David could have taken matters into his own hands. But when you surrender to God and you say, God, this is beyond my control. I surrender it to you. God is the one that will take care of it. God is the one that will deal with it. God is the one that will orchestrate the path. When you lay it down and you say, this is not my will, Father, but your will be done, God will make sure to remove whatever he has to remove. God will make sure to bring whatever he has to bring. God will make sure to be the author, the one that is orchestrating everything. And it says here that when this happens, it says that David remembers Abigail, just as she had said, and goes and to get her to be his wife. So we see here such an important lesson, that this woman was a woman that interceded. And I'm sure that this was not the first time that she had to stand in the gap for her husband. I'm sure that she was probably so tired of doing it, but that didn't mean that she would give up. She was a woman of intercession. She was a woman that knew how to humble herself. She was a woman that knew times, and she was a woman that defended her household. So I just wanted to share about Abigail today. I wanted to honor her. And all this came about an app where it says, who are you like? And then it says, it'll give you a little character. And I was thinking, what an honor it is to be compared to Mary Magdalene. Like, that was a woman that she was a worshiper, and she had God's heart, fully, completely a worshiper. She had Jesus's attention. What a privilege and an honor to be like Esther, that she delivered a nation, queen. A privilege to be like Mary, the mother of Jesus, chosen, had favor and grace with God. But the woman who stood out to me today, that I was like, I would like to honor her, because sometimes she's overlooked, and she was a wise woman. I'm sure she was the wisest wife and the most mature wife that David had. She was a great possession, because of her, she delivered her household. She delivered her husband and her husband's servants, and they were alive due to her obedience, to her submission, to her humbleness, to her wisdom, is Abigail. So thanks for watching. God bless you, and have a nice day.